I think it's time we had a different kind of talk on this channel. We've covered the how a lot in the last few months, but we never really looked at the why. What is that why? Why bother with tactical play at all? I've played a lot of Planetside 2. A lot of it. But I still have trouble thinking of a solid, irrefutable answer to that question. There's just not something that I can really say to prove that playing as an organized unit is better than zerging or being a lone wolf among many players. So let's look at a few of those reasons why tactical play isn't as encouraged as we'd like it to be, and see if we can't offer a constructive solution to each of these. Let's forget about if this game should be an MLG or balance issues just for a minute and focus on what we can do in the name of tactics. So let's start with the basics. The base gameplay of Planetside 2 is pretty universal. Kill the guys with the guns and the vehicles in order to capture the point. You've got the archetypical classes too. The stealthy guy, the healer, the guy who can gain a big height advantage, the big slow bruiser who can dish out and receive a lot of damage. They're all there. The names are even the same in some cases. We know how to play these classes immediately for the most part because they come naturally to us. Admittedly, they've got things that make them unique, but you can see what I'm getting at. Tactical play, on the other hand, doesn't come naturally. So why is that important? Because as gamers, we tend to go towards what we know is the most efficient way of doing something, or if it gives us a reward that validates learning a skill. If it's not the fastest, best, or only way to get something, we don't bother to learn it. There's no reward for using tactical play right now. You can make in 1 hour from mindlessly killing in a biolab what you'd make in about 3 hours of careful, painstakingly planned conquest of Araxis. So to draw a parallel, why scour the world for many unique ingredients to make each new thing up a skill tree when you can just spam the crap out of iron daggers and get all the way to the top like that? Your Daedric armor isn't going to take any penalties for how you got up to that skill level. So how do we incentivize learning to play with tactics? Well, what about XP bonuses? It sounds like a band-aid solution, but it's one hell of a band-aid. What if you got a boost to your gained experience whenever you chose to stay close to a marked objective, like in Battlefield? And let's put that XP buff on smokes, too. That'd give players incentive to go after those targets I marked with obnoxiously colored smokes. And how about a bonus for flanking and suppressing targets, too? Or better yet, just give a damage bonus to flankers like you do in XCOM. I don't think anyone would mind if we borrowed a few really good tactical ideas from other games to make Planetside 2 more enjoyable, Sony Online. These are pretty universal ideas. And if you give a benefit to playing tactically instead of just throwing units directly at an objective, you bet you'll see a lot more tactical play. So we talked about the receiving end of tactical play and the people that take the orders, wanting to listen to the orders. So let's talk a bit about leadership. Man, I could go on for hours about what I'd like to see as someone who has led more campaigns than he can possibly remember in-game. But I'll boil it down to some of the most beneficial things that would help the whole community. As leaders, we have surprisingly little at our disposal to lead. We can mark objectives, which we talked about. You can put down a spawn beacon, which is admittedly a really good concept and works well. But sadly, people don't cert into the higher levels of it. And other than that, you can mute platoon chat for a bit. And lastly, you can organize and prune your squad, but it's not very useful when people can just immediately rejoin after you kick or even leave the squad and join the squad they want to be in. And they can keep doing this until you either lock all the squads or just give up. Leaders need more power and more tools at their disposal. If a leader kicks someone, that person should have a 5-minute timeout before they can rejoin that squad. Lordy, that would be so nice if I could not focus on kick wars and focus on orders, because that's a problem. We've all seen it when we're in the squad. We look at the chat menu and see one guy has been joining and leaving a squad about half a dozen times now, and after a while the leader eventually has to pay attention to that person for the sake of order. And what if we gave leaders some more toys to play with too? Like, say, for 1,000 certs, you could instantaneously call down a default Sunder the way an engineer puts down a turret. Think of the mobilization potential and all the new opportunities for strategy that could bring in. Another great way to help promote strong leadership is to make leadership a little easier to do. In order to do anything other than drop a spawn beacon, I have to go into the map menu, look for the exact point I want to mark out, or where I think the target is hiding, and then mark it on the map. By the time I've done that, I'm probably dead thanks to not actually looking at the game. If leaders had some sort of nanite laser pointer thing that let us set waypoints or drop smoke markers from the in-game screen instead of the map, we'd be much more inclined to actively lead on the field and give out orders the instant we know we need to give them out, rather than waiting till we die to give orders or just hiding in the spawn room all day instead of playing. Thirdly, let's improve leader communication. I've talked about this before. Leader chat is a mess. All that seems to happen is arguing, blaming, and calling each other various slurs. It's easily argued that the most toxic part of Planetside 2 is the leader chat. So how can we improve on it? Well, first, we can eliminate some of the obfuscation around it. If we clearly list who is currently on leader chat for all to see when they're in it, we can know who's talking even when they aren't, and that'd be a good start. Now how about something to deter the toxicity? Let's say that on leader chat, a player is flaming up a storm or just outright mic spamming, and it's a pain for everyone else trying to communicate, and they're just having trouble listening to their own squads. Well, let's say players can go on that list of leaders and anonymously put a little strike or something on it. Nobody, including the player that got the strike, will see or get notified about that strike, but if a player gets 6 of those strikes within, say, a 6-hour period, that player gets banned from using or listening to leader chat for an entire day. It's not a perfect solution, and it probably needs a good deal of tweaking, but that'd deter a lot of toxicity on leader chat and make it a lot more effective. Another way to effectively overhaul leader chat is to overhaul the requirements to fully use it, so that people who actually want to contribute would be the only people bothered to cert into it. I've talked about this before, but here's my idea for restructuring leader chat. Give it 4 ranks. The first rank will require battle rank 10 and cost 200 certs. It will give you listening privileges only, but you're allowed to put strikes on people who are being toxic. Rank 2 will require battle rank 20 and 300 certs. And rank 2 will allow you to use the undervalued leader text chat. The third rank would cost 500 certs and require you to be level 30, but it will give you full talking permissions and the rights to use orders chat. Finally, at battle rank 40 and 1000 certs, the fourth rank will give you priority speaking on leader chat, as well as the ability to set global waypoints for everyone in-game to see, with a stipulation that one can close them on their map if they're not interested in that particular objective. I know this has been a lot to digest, but we need to give some serious thought into tactical play and how we can improve it if we really want Planetside 2 to be considered a tactical game. Sony Online Entertainment has paraded the outfits in-game and even shown off some tactical talk in that promo for the PlayStation 4 version of the game. But just commending it won't be enough. SOE is known for how great they are at listening to the community about things that they want to see changed in the game. So if we really want to see this game become as tactical as we think it should be, let's make some noise about it in a positive, constructive manner. My ideas can't be the only ideas out there, so voice your own in the comments or on Reddit in the PS2 forums. With enough dedication, we can make this game even better than it already is. Thank you, everyone.